Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra! Hey guys, and welcome back to What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Kenpachi Zaraki. So we left off with Sakura putting Ino in a genjutsu, and it was so strong to the point that Ino passed out due to the mental strain. Her mind couldn't handle what Sakura was doing. Now, the genjutsu was going to be centered around Sakura's sword. And there's things I have to mention about Sakura and Sasuke, since I did decide to give them a Sanpakuto in this series. And it'll also make this series interesting, going off growth of more, like, say, for example, seeing what Sasuke can do with his sword or Sakura can do with her sword. But anyway, I gave Sakura Zenbone Sakura since it sounds just like her name, and I can pretty much say that a huge chunk of the community does not like Sakura, and I can agree with you. Nobody likes Sakura because her character is useless and basically just fan chick. That's it. But in this series, I'm making her useful. Anyway, now on to the topic of Sasuke. His sword name, his Shikai sword, when he reveals his Shikai, will be named Kiden. I thought that would be a good fit for Sasuke's sword due to the fact that in Shippuden, when he first used Kiden against Itachi, it was like a cool attack, but I was doing more thinking like, should that be used as an attack than more of his like a Shikai? But then I decided just to call his sword, when he awakens his Shikai, that's what his name is. The name of his Shikai will be. Anyway. Now back to the story. Now we left off with Sakura putting Ino in the genjutsu, like I said. Now Ino will get taken away on a stretcher and Sakura will be declared the winner. Now for the next battle. It's Hinata versus Neji. And with Neji's luck. Neji is, right now, he's sweating bullets. Neji does not know what he can do to basically ward off Hinata. Hinata is a powerhouse, and she always been that way ever since they were kids. The moment she picked up a sword, she knew how to swing it. She knew how to use it as if she was a Jonin. And that's just saying it lightly. Begin, the instructor would say at the Hyuga compound. As Neji and Hinata would charge each other, Hinata would throw a whole bunch of, slurry of sword strikes, cutting Neji all over his body. In a flash, Neji's cuts would spew out blood as Neji would hit the ground, but he would get back up, not deterred from the battle, and Hinata would look at Neji and smile as she's right in front of him. All Neji could see is this demonic aura of a woman just rushing at him and then cutting him all over his body again, punching him in the stomach, kicking him to the ground. The battle was so one-sided, and Neji did not know how. He did not know what kind of training Hinata received. Did she, or was she, he could not conceive what he couldn't dodge or basically counterattack. Her moves was so flawless and it was so perfect, and to the point that Neji just blacked out. Hinata was at the brink of cutting Neji across the throat, getting ready to end his life, end his existence until he passed out. She felt that it was worthless to kill a fighter who would pass out in battle. Then she declared that Neji is not strong enough to face her, and if he ever faced her, she would always tell him to forfeit, because she knows how the battle is going to go, and Neji knows how the battle is going to go. So it'll be fruitless to even challenge her when you know that your skills and your potential will never amount to her. Well, she said, your skills and potential will never amount to mine. Next time we fight, you better forfeit, because I will not hesitate to kill you, even if you're Hugo or you're related to me. It doesn't matter. Don't challenge someone you can't beat. And Hinata would walk away. Now Neji is sweating and Hinata just smiles at him. And then she looks at Neji with a very sadistic face. You remember what I told you, Neji, didn't you? You remember what I told you about facing me. You remember what I told you, what would happen. Neji feels this heavy amount of pressure just weighing on him as all of this Ryasu is just shooting on Neji like a fucking truck. He cannot even move, let alone think. It's like the whole world is on his shoulders, and Neji is barely being able to stand up as his body starts to sweat and he starts to basically throw up on the ground. This is more heavier than a genjutsu, and it's more potent. at the same time, it doesn't even feel like a genjutsu. Neji can feel his body being smashed, like it feels like he's being flattened or trying like being stuffed like like flattened like a pancake. You know what I mean? Anyway, as Neji looking up at Hinata, and Hinata just smiling at Neji, and she just lets go. She just stops. Neji's breathing heavily as he stands up, and his legs is shaking. Then on the only words out of Hinata's mouth when she looks at Neji, she says, "Forfeit." Neji is shocked to hear those words, and he would say, "What? You need to forfeit right now. If you don't, you're going to die. Last chance. Forfeit the battle. I'm warning you, because you will not get a second warning. You will not hear anything out of my mouth. The moment I draw my sword, you're going to die." Neji felt those words in his very core, in the very deepest parts of his soul, more so than that curse mark or anything on his head could ever inflict fear in. Neji felt those words more than anyone in the damn stadium. And Neji dropped to his knees and forfeit the battle. He actually forfeit the battle, which made the Hyuga clan members more like they made mad. Like he forfeited against Hinata. Some of them knew about Hinata's skill and potential, but they still were stubborn. They wanted to see Neji actually win for once, to prove that she was not stronger than the Hyuga prodigy. But that was all proven fruitless. Neji didn't hold a candle to Hinata. He didn't even get to land a decisive blow. He didn't even get to do, let alone anything. All Hinata did was inject her bloodlust project her bloodlust and Ryatsu onto Neji to the point it was so unbearable. And then she just said the words that even made it more so one-sided, that Neji just couldn't continue on. Now the rest of the battles would pretty much go the same way. Now we now cut to the 1 month training period. Now Naruto is training with No. Now I have to retcon something back. Now Naruto has been calling her Nozurashi. Now Nozurashi would tell Naruto her full name. She would have got comfortable with Naruto saying her full name and everything. But Naruto is not unlocked his Shikai yet. Naruto still has to do some training for that. And a lot of training. Now Naruto's getting very skilled with his sword and getting very used to his power. Now Naruto basically hasn't been doing any like jutsus or anything like that, keeping it strictly like a kenpachi. So because Naruto just been focusing on taijutsu and getting his sword play on. Now I'm not saying that Naruto doesn't know how to do it. Yes, he does. For instance, Naruto knows how to do the shadow clone jutsu and a bunch of various other things. Naruto's basically shadow clone jutsu. I wouldn't say that he is more dependent on chakra, because I did state that Naruto does not have any chakra. So, but the one key factor I am going to keep a part of Naruto's character is the Rasengan and the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Just to keep it more of in that Naruto, like, what-if style. Anyway, it will be more, like, detailed explanation of how the Shadow Clone Jutsu will work in this one. I'm basically going to put it into, like, Ryatsu and Hado spells, more likely. But it's going to be, like, something like that. Anyway, and about the Rasengan, it's going to be Naruto, it's basically going to be like a yellow Rasengan created out of Ryatsu. Basically that. Anyway, so as the 1 month training is persistent, and Hinata's doing her training and everything, but she's more likely not personality shifting anything, but she also is doing some studying on herbs, healing, trying to learn as much about the body and healing people as she can, being like studying medical ninjutsu and all that kind of stuff, just learning about different techniques to heal a person or to bring a person back, to heal wounds fast. Like, she's learning everything and getting very, very, very skilled at it. Like, Hinata cut herself and she did some kind of like fast type of she did some kind of motioning with her hand and created this green-like substance over her wound that healed it instantly. Now, Hinata is thinking if her sword has something to do with this. And quite frankly, her sword does have something, I really don't know, because her sword was really hard to explain in the anime as much as it was, it was just hard to explain. Anyway, so as the 1 month training arc continues and everybody's getting their training in, Hinata's doing her own thing. Sakura has just unlocked her Shikai. Well, she's been unlocked her Shikai. So she's just getting used to her Shikai and getting used to the rose petals and getting used to what they can do. And noticing that when, like, watching Gaara and how he fights when he fought against Rock Lee, she noticed that she could use her Zenbone Sakura. She noticed that she can use Zenbone Sakura in that way. Naruto basically just getting used to swinging swords, more strength in that put, and he's noticing that he needs to stop underestimating using more power and needs to actually get stronger. He was actually holding back against her, and the fact that this girl could have killed him so many times over sends chills down Naruto's spine. But it also makes him excited because this is the one female that he actually went toe-to-toe against and actually gave him a good battle. A really, really good battle. Anyway, Sasuke is more likely training with Kakashi and honing with his Sharingan and everything, but he's also learning to use his sword more proficiently. And Sasuke, when he gets into a Shikai form, when he says Kirin, and his sword glows blue, and all of a sudden he has this like blue, like sort of, it's like a blue curved blade with holes in it, and he said Kirin. And when Sasuke gets into the like Kirin state with his sword, he can throw lightning slashes at a person or summon lightning attacks from the sky. And that's already strong as what it may sound like. But those are the two abilities I'm giving Sasuke's Shikai sword, and there might be a few more that I add down the road. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys in this part. I'm just gauging interest to see where you guys' head are. If you guys still want this series, if you don't, I might discontinue it, and who knows, I might bring it back in the near future. But anyway, this is just to engage interest and see if you guys still want the series. Anyway, the like goal would be like 20 to 33 likes. If you can reach that like goal, I would know that you guys still like the series and you still want more parts to come out. Anyway, without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra good night, guys.